today's video, I don't actually have a video of the process because I forgot to hit record when I created this layout. So I wanted to talk a bit about the techniques I used and my pattern paper selection. So for Scraptember, the prompt is something you've been hoarding, and I have thoroughly been hoarding my Shimelle stash. She's no longer creating for American Crafts, and I have so many of her collections, and I just really love her stuff. And so what I did is, when I decided to do the 30 days of sketches and participate in Scraptember, my goal was to use almost exclusively, if not exclusively, Shimelle products so that I could use up my stash. I apologize. I'm gonna go take the toy from the puppy. Okay, and so using the stash, that kind of helps narrow down some of the pattern paper choices. However, I have a lot of Shimelle stash, so I have a lot of pattern papers to choose from. So one thing I did is I looked at my photos, and this carpet kind of is like an old school, kind of Victorian regal feel to me personally. And then her costume for her dance recital has all kinds of colors in it. So I felt like, there's blues, there's pinks, so I knew I could do that. And then I wanted to include some glitter and some glam. I apologize. Our puppy got neutered and he has a cone, but he doesn't act like he has a cone on. Also, on this pattern paper, there is some like gold foiling, and so that's why I also wanted to use this gold paper. So for the sketch, you have a stack from the bottom to the top of strips of pattern paper. This is a great time to use your scraps or 6x6 or 6x8 paper pads. I also feel like there's a bit of a shelf that goes all along here. So I didn't create a shelf with pattern paper, but I did kind of create a bit of a shelf by using the journaling card and my embellishment clusters. I also switched where the title was gonna go. Instead of putting the title on the bottom, I wanted to put the title on top, and I wanted to use this journaling card instead of creating lines of for my journaling on the actual white cardstock. So I usually try to stick to about more than 2. So I always want more than 2 patterns of paper when I'm using strips of pattern paper to create something like this. Because if it's only 2, you're basically alternating, and that's not really a look that I go for, because when I usually try to do these types of layouts and use these sketches, my kind of goal is to use things up. So I like to keep around 3 to 5, depending on how big of an area I'm covering with the strips. So if I'm only covering like a little area like this, I would stick to 3. If I'm covering a big area like this, I would use more pattern papers. Because this allows me more ways to kind of alternate the patterns and play. So one of my goals is I never try to have the same pattern paper touch each other. So I always have at least one pattern paper in between 2 strips of paper that are the same pattern. I also try to not have super similar patterns. So this is big flowers, this is small flowers. This is a solid gold specialty paper, big flowers, small flowers, specialty gold paper, big flowers, simple patterned paper, very simple pattern paper, a small print pattern paper, gold specialty paper, big flowers, small flowers, gold specialty paper, big flowers, simple pattern paper, big flowers, small paper, or small patterned paper, so it's just simple small pattern of butterflies, small flowers, big flowers, a light color, a dark color, so they kind of contrast, a gold foil specialty, light color, dark color, gold, light color pink, light blue, dark burgundy, gold, pink, dark blue, gold, light pink, light blue, and the light pink and light blue are so different in color that they pop. And so I wouldn't put this blue color next to this dark blue unless if I absolutely had to, because I feel like it would blend too much. This burgundy is so much different than this light pink that it provides a deep enough contrast in my opinion. So that's kind of some of the thought process that I think through when I'm choosing strips of paper. Is I try to look for things that have patterns that are a little different, simple patterns, and kind of busier, more complex patterns. That's sort of what I do. And then I try to look for kind of 2 to 4 colors that go well together. And then for my embellishment clusters, I kept it pretty simple. The sketch just had an embellishment cluster here and here, but because I decided to put my title here, I ended up kind of having 3 little clusters. And I stuck with Shimelle's stash. This is a chipboard piece. And then I just did some stickers and a piece of cardstock ephemera and some 3D like puffy stickers. And then I used this shield paper ephemera as a base for this embellishment cluster. And I used this circle ephemera with the little rose and the yellow pattern to it as a base for this cluster. And then my title, which is a chipboard piece, was the base for this cluster. And then every single cluster has yellow flowers. They all have flowers of some kind in them. And then I chose to use these little envelopes because they have flowers, and also because I kind of feel like if you get an envelope full of flowers, it's like a gift, and we were giving Rhiannon her flowers and her unicorn for doing such a great job at her performance. And then I included the camera because she was, you know, the star of the show for us, and we were taking photos of her. So anyway, this is my layout for day 8. I apologize again that I did not have the video on, but I'm determined to do 30 videos in 30 days. And I thought somebody might find it helpful just to kind of hear me talk through how at least I approach using strips of paper like this, because it's a great technique to stash bust. It's a great technique to use up 6x6, 6x8 paper pads. It's also a great technique to use a bunch of pattern papers that you love all in one spot. Anyway, guys, have a great day. Don't forget to check out the links in the description box below to see everybody else's take on the sketch and/or prompt. Bye.